In meetings, a lot of times we're digging into kind of like deep and complex ideas. And so a part that I enjoy about facilitation is kind of listening and synthesizing those ideas. I think that's also can be a really big challenge to like kind of listen and keep in your head like what someone is saying and connect it to the other ideas that have been brought up. And so that's a piece that I both enjoy but find challenging. And so kind of just continuing to hone my skills around being able to like listen and engage with folks while kind of keeping in the back of your head like how is this fitting into the bigger picture, and what can I say and do and write on the board as a facilitator to help folks kind of connect the ideas that are coming up in the room and that are connected to kind of the problem of practice we're working on and the kind of larger arc of the work that we're going through. So in terms of like facilitation moves, I think it's important to kind of let people get some stuff out. And then for me, I think it's just like naming it, like these are a lot of good ideas and maybe putting like a label on it, like you're all talking about, ways to, ways that you engage students. And then I think just like reframing it and saying like, let's dig deeper into something specific, and I think giving an example, and I try to use a lot of examples from other schools that we've worked with. So I'll just say something like, for example, at this school, they were thinking about student voice, and they really started digging into how students connect with teachers around whether or not like the classwork assignment makes sense. And so just like giving examples and getting, I think helps a lot. Because you can give people the instruction, like we want to be really specific here, but I think you have to, a lot of times, kind of gather some of the general ideas and then refocus folks, give them an example. And then I think usually people are willing to go there, but they just need a little more guidance to do so.
One thing that can be a little bit challenging in that scenario where there are too many ideas being bounced around is it can be hard to tell which are the salient points, what are the points, the ideas that we want to be able to move forward with. And a facilitator, it's important as a facilitator to be able to think about how to highlight those ideas that are the ones that are going to move us forward. And the way that I did that in the moment when I was working with the history department was to go back to an anchor in the skill and the objective that we had decided on beforehand. And in this case, it was that we wanted to teach and assess the focus skill of using evidence. And so that helped me because I knew, like, this is my anchor, that as a facilitator, as I listened to people sharing ideas or practices or activities to try, I could think and I could say out loud and I could ask the question, like, how does that connect back to our focus skill? How does that connect back to the objective that we want to get at in the lesson? And that helped me in the moment be able to filter what are the most promising ideas coming out of this discussion. It can be really hard to synthesize in the moment, and that's definitely a muscle that you have to build as a facilitator. But the other thing is that it's really important to follow up and do your synthesis in that follow-up with the team so that you keep momentum and that you're able to develop a focus for that team in terms of their next steps. So I think when it came to the history department, when we were coming up with all these ideas, it wouldn't have been as helpful to just have a running list of notes. But instead, to send that back to the team. So instead, what I did is I tried to think about, from the notes that we took in the meeting and the discussion we had, what were the 3 key ideas that we wanted to run with. And in the couple days after the meeting, I sent back a set of notes via email that were much shorter. Even though we had a 2-hour conversation, it was like, here's where we landed. Here are the ideas that came up. Here are some of the other ideas that we'll just hold on to, but these are the most promising ones that we decided on, and these are our next steps. And I think that follow-up made it easy for people to remember what were the main ideas that came out of that particular meeting, and know kind of where they wanted to go next.